In a sense that,
No. You know what I mean? Like,
and I'm just going to speak from personal experience here. I grew up in a patriarchal society, right? Raise your hand if you grew up in a patriarchal society. Hey! Welcome to the club. Growing up in a society like that, and then also growing up with so much other shit, it taught me as a girl to keep my mouth shut, to stay within the lines, to not disrupt, to not question, and just be some cute teddy bear sitting in the corner, right? And so usually when you're a kid, that's how you are. And when you grow up, you either stay that way or you grow up and you're like, hey, I don't really believe in this anymore. I'm going to quit. Peace out. And you start to become a version of yourself that, let's say people like your mother, people like your grandma, will look at you weird and be like, why aren't you conforming? Right? And when you do get older and you start saying, girl, fuck you, in the most respectful way, when you grow up and you break out of that, break every chain, when you break those chains, and you start looking for a partner romantically, ooh la la, we usually look for partners that reflect a version of us that we either don't have or are aspiring to have. And stick with me here, okay? Like I said, as someone who very in the lines, very clean cut, very like, okay, yes ma'am, no ma'am, you know what I'm saying? I subconsciously always felt like inauthentic. I wanted to be the kid in class who would be a little disruptive, right? Cause a little bit of commotion, because at the end of the day, who gives a fuck if you're like the best student in the world? Like think back to the people in your class right now and think like top 5 people in your class. How many people out of the top 5 didn't say anything? How many people of the top 5 were like line leaders? Okay. Probably not many. You remember the kid who cracked that joke in class. You remember that kid that maybe cracked a fart, right? And I subconsciously always wanted to be that type of person. Or I remember when I was younger, I think I had said something about God, like, oh, if God is like all righteous or something. Girl, I was like 6 years old. I was like 6 years old dissecting religion. And I was saying something and my dad turned, because we were in the car, he turned to me, he was like, don't question God. Girl, put my headphones in, I'm looking out the window. Like, girl, whatever. Like, I've always had this questionable, like, need for knowledge, whatever, in me. And it was definitely suppressed when I was younger. But now, girl, I'm questioning everything. And so, I just noticed that, with me or like with people like me, we look for partners that, like I said, we either aspire to be subconsciously or consciously, right? And that's why I think, and if you're catching my drift on this point, this next point is going to make sense to you, okay? That's why I believe the boring men, like the boring average Joes of the world, really gravitate towards the manic pixie fairy girl, right? They see something in the manic pixie dream girl that they don't have. They see a version of themselves that's rebellious, that is a little bit quirky, right? And they aspire to be like that. And if you're catching my drift, I really admire partners or just like friends or whatever people I'm close with, I appreciate people who question things, right? People who are out of the norm, right? If you're like, oh, why do beavers, or why do what is that animal called? Platypuses, or is it platypies? Platypies or platypuses? Oh, girl, my light just turned off. No. Hold on. We're back. Yeah, just people who question, right? Like, like, I must know why everything is the way it is. Like, you could call it like, hey, I was watching the History Channel at 10 years old, or it's just like some things just need to be questioned. And like, I really don't have like a good example of these archetypes. I'm only speaking from personal opinion here. But I just think it's so hot and sexy when people are like, no, I'm going to question that. No, I'm going to question you. But there's levels to it, right? Like, don't be overly like questioning everything, girl. Like, some things is like, okay, shut up. You know what I mean? But then there's other things where I'm like, yeah, let's dissect. Let's get a little bit intellectual here. I think that's the word. It's the intellectualism of it all. Like, I really want to dissect your brain, and I really want you to just dissect mine, and let's just get our lab coats on and dissect each other. That didn't sound right. But we often look for what we don't have in our partners. That's all I wanted to say. I can't even sit here and sound like all Bill Gates and like Thomas Ford. Or his name wasn't Thomas Ford. It was Henry Ford, wasn't it? Damn it. I can't even sit up here and sound all billionaire high tech. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm giving a TED talk. I literally just press record. But like, if you're watching this video, chances are you're something like me. You're something like an anomaly. You're something like out of this world, out of this galaxy, right? And I always felt that way. I always felt like I was different, and not in a pick-me sense, okay? Not like I'm just different than these other girls. Like, other girls just aren't like me. Not in that sense, but I always felt like I was different, right? And is that even really different to like be intellectual as a woman? I guess it is, because that's what society doesn't want you to be. Society doesn't want you to be intellectual. You find specimen. Fuck, I messed that up. You find specimen of a woman, of a human being, right? They don't want you to be intellectual. But I'm here to tell you today, you can. Yeah, I'm not sure if any of this makes sense, but I literally was on Substack. Shout out Substack. I just wrote an article on Substack if you want to go check it out. Reese's Substack on Substack. I need to change my name too, but that's neither here nor there. I saw this one comment under someone's Substack, and it was like, for the woman, perhaps a curious man. And I was like, just so, you're so right. You're so right. And I guess like if you're a very compassionate, I don't know. I'm going to stop talking though before I like start rambling and I'm not making sense anymore, because I already fear I'm not making sense. But if I keep talking, I will lose a lot of y'all. If any of y'all are here. Love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for joining the Freaky Fat Podcast. I'm your host, Reese Nicole. I love you, Reese, and I will see you in my next one. That was supposed to be a wink. I failed miserably.